Preventing nighttime strokes. 11 sleep habits you need to change starting tonight. Hello, I'm Dr. John Harper, a health specialist with over 35 years of experience working with people over 50 here in the United States. Today, I want to talk about something extremely important. Sleep habits that may seem harmless, but can quietly increase your risk of having a stroke while you sleep. Especially if you're over 60, no chest pain, no dizziness, no warning signs. You go to bed feeling fine, but by the next morning, everything could change forever. Don't let that happen to you. In this video, we'll explore 11 dangerous sleep habits and how you can change them to protect your brain starting tonight. If you find this video helpful, type the number one in the comments. If not, type 0 so I know how to make my content better for you. All right, let's get started. Sleeping on your stomach. You know, after more than 30 years as a doctor, I've realized there are habits we often think are harmless, but over time, they quietly hurt our health, especially once we're past 50. One of those habits is sleeping on your stomach. It might sound simple, but trust me, your body never forgives anything that restricts blood flow to your brain. Picture this. When you sleep on your stomach, your neck has to twist to one side just so you can breathe. That seemingly harmless movement actually puts pressure on your vertebral and carotid arteries, the highways that carry oxygen-rich blood to your brain. By the time we reach middle age and beyond, these arteries are already less elastic. Their walls stiffer. If you keep this position for hours every night, your blood flow can slow down, and your risk of forming a blood clot goes up. If you already have high blood pressure, diabetes, or sleep apnea, that risk multiplies. I remember one of my patients, Linda, age 67. She was generally healthy, only occasionally complaining about neck pain in the mornings. One day, she woke up with mild numbness in her hand and came to see me. We discovered the cause was her decades-long habit of sleeping on her stomach. When I explained how that position could restrict blood flow to her brain, she was shocked. But within a few weeks of switching to sleeping on her side, the numbness disappeared. Her sleep was deeper, and she felt far more alert in the morning. Science backs this up. Even a slight reduction in blood flow to the brain can put stress on nerve cells and make them more vulnerable to damage. That's why many experts recommend that older adults sleep on their side, especially the left side. This position promotes better circulation, reduces strain on the heart and neck, and even helps your lymphatic system clear waste from the brain while you sleep. Now, if you're used to sleeping on your stomach, I know it's not easy to change. Your body will resist, and you might roll back without realizing it. But here's a tip. Try using a firm or contour pillow to keep your head aligned with your spine. You can also place a small pillow between your knees when sleeping on your side. It helps keep your body stable and reduces the chance of rolling over. So let me ask you, how did you sleep last night? Did you wake up with a stiff neck or sore shoulders? If you did, maybe it's time to rethink your sleeping position. Just one small change tonight could be a big gift to your brain and heart for years to come. And trust me, once you're over 50, every drop of blood that reaches your brain is as precious as gold. Ignoring sleep apnea screening. You know, is chakranam. There are things that happen silently while we sleep, and because they're silent, they're far more dangerous. One of those is sleep apnea, something many people over 50 have but don't even realize. I've met countless patients who tell me, "Doctor, I sleep just fine, maybe I snore a little now and then." But when we run a sleep study, we find they've stopped breathing dozens, even hundreds of times a night. Picture this. You're fast asleep, and suddenly your throat closes for a few seconds. The oxygen in your blood drops. Your heart races to make up for it. Your blood pressure spikes, and your brain is briefly starved of oxygen. Then your body jolts you into breathing again, but by morning, you remember none of it. All you know is that you wake up feeling tired, sluggish, as if you hadn't rested at all. One of my patients, Robert, Circuituum, swore he was a great sleeper, but his wife told a different story every night. She had to shake him awake because he'd stopped breathing. At first, he thought she was just overreacting. But after I convinced him to get a sleep study, the results showed he had severe sleep apnea. Just 1 month after starting CPAP therapy to keep his airway open, he told me, I haven't felt this alert in over 10 years. Science is clear sleep apnea doesn't just make you tired during the day. It raises your risk for high blood pressure, stroke, and heart failure. When your brain is deprived of oxygen over and over, your blood vessels become damaged, making it easier for dangerous clots to form. For anyone over 50, that's a ticking time bomb you can't afford to ignore. So, how do you know if you have it? If you snore loudly, if a loved one says you stop breathing while you sleep, or if you often wake up gasping for air, talk to your doctor. A simple sleep study will give you a clear answer. And trust me, this isn't a luxury. It could save your life. The good news, sleep apnea is treatable. Using a CPAP machine keeps your airway open all night. Combine that with weight loss, regular exercise, and avoiding alcohol before bed, and you can dramatically improve your sleep quality and protect your heart. I want you to think about this. Every breath you take at night is a lifeline to your brain and your heart. Don't let that lifeline be cut off without you even knowing it. If one small change today could give you years of healthier mornings, would you take it? For your health and for the people who love you, don't ignore the warning signs of sleep apnea. Shrieking, sleeping with a heavy blanket over your head. You know, when it's cold, many of us love pulling the blanket over our heads for that warm, safe feeling. It's almost like going back to childhood where the outside world is shut out, and all you have is your own breath in that small cocoon of air. But once we hit our 50s and 60s, our bodies aren't as forgiving as they used to be. What feels harmless can quietly cause changes you don't even realize. I want you to picture this. You're asleep, your head and face tucked under a thick blanket. Every breath you take is no longer fresh air. It's air you've already breathed out, with less oxygen and more CO2. At first, you might just feel a little warm, maybe a bit stuffy, but over hours, your body is essentially trading poor air for even poorer air. Your blood thickens, your heart works harder, and if your blood vessels are already less elastic, a clot can form more easily. I once had a patient, Margaret, 64, who had been sleeping with her head under the covers since she was young. She told me, "It just helps me fall asleep faster and keeps things quiet." But in recent years, she often woke up with a heavy head, dizziness, and a racing heart. When I explained that her brain was likely getting less oxygen all night, she decided to stop. We swapped her heavy blanket for a lighter one, kept her bedroom air flowing, and she used a sleep mask to block light. Just 2 weeks later, she told me her mornings felt lighter, and the dizziness was gone. Medically, it makes perfect sense. The brain and heart of an older adult are more sensitive to changes in oxygen levels. When airflow is restricted, oxygen in your blood drops, CO2 rises, and your circulatory system has to push harder to make up for it. If you have conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, or high cholesterol, that small change can be the spark that triggers a heart event or even a stroke. The good news is, you can still have that sense of comfort without cutting off your air. Use a sleep mask to block light, earplugs to reduce noise, and a lighter blanket that's just warm enough. Keep the air in your bedroom moving and the temperature comfortable, so every breath you take at night is full and refreshing. So ask yourself, how did you sleep last night? Did you give each breath the freedom it deserves? At our age, every breath we take at night isn't just about survival. It's a quiet gift that nourishes every cell, so you can wake up with a strong heart and a clear mind. And that's worth making the change tonight. Share sleeping in a cold room without proper neck support. You know, a lot of people love sleeping in a cool or even cold bedroom because it feels easier to drift off. But once we're in our 50s and 60s, our bodies respond to cold very differently than they did when we were younger. Cold doesn't just make you curl up under the covers, it also causes your blood vessels to constrict, especially in your neck, where two vital highways run, the carotid and vertebral arteries, carrying oxygen-rich blood straight to your brain. I want you to picture this. You're lying in a cool room, your head resting on a pillow that's too soft, your chin tilted slightly toward your chest, for hours. The blood vessels in your neck are not only narrowed from the cold, they're also being compressed by poor positioning. Blood flow to your brain slows down, and if you already have cervical spine degeneration or less elastic arteries, your risk of a blood clot or even a stroke goes up. The scary part. All of this happens while you're fast asleep, completely unaware. I remember one of my patients, James, 65. He prided himself on being a healthy sleeper, went to bed on time, never stayed up late, and always kept his bedroom at 16 because he thought cooler meant deeper sleep. But he often woke up with a dull headache and a stiff, wooden-like neck. When we checked, we found reduced blood flow in his neck, largely caused by his sleeping position combined with the low temperature. Once he adjusted the room temperature to around 66 degrees or 19 and switched to a medium firm pillow that kept his neck aligned with his spine, his symptoms improved dramatically within weeks. Science has shown that cold temperatures make peripheral blood vessels constrict to conserve body heat. But that also means blood moves more slowly. If your neck, the gateway for blood to your brain, is affected, your brain will get less oxygen. Add poor posture, like tucking your chin into your chest or twisting your neck, and you're blocking that blood flow even more. So if you like a cool sleeping environment, keep it in the safe zone around 64, 68 degrees or 18, 18, 20 me. It's cool enough to help you sleep, but not so cold that it causes excessive constriction. And invest in a good pillow high enough and firm enough to keep your head in line with your spine. Avoid overly soft pillows that let your neck bend or tilt for hours at a time. Let me ask you, when you woke up this morning, was your neck stiff or your shoulders sore? If the answer is yes, maybe it's time to rethink both your bedroom temperature and your pillow. At our age, every drop of blood flowing to the brain at night is precious, and sometimes just one small change tonight can mean a lighter, healthier morning and a stronger heart for years to come. Pimping this month. Going to bed right after a heavy meal or alcohol. You know, there are two things that may seem harmless, but quietly take a toll on your brain and heart once you're past 50. Eating a heavy meal and drinking alcohol right before bed. Many people think, I just had dinner a little late, or a glass of wine will help me sleep better. But once we hit our 50s and 60s, our bodies don't respond the way they did at 30 or 40. I want you to picture this. You've just finished a big dinner meat. Potatoes. Maybe a little dessert to top it off. Or maybe you've enjoyed a couple of drinks with friends. Then you head straight to bed, thinking you'll drift off easily. But inside, your body is busy handling a double shift, digesting all that food and processing the alcohol in your system. When you eat a heavy meal, especially one high in fat or sugar, blood is redirected to your stomach and intestines to help with digestion. That means less blood is temporarily reaching your brain. And alcohol, at first, it dilates your blood vessels, making you feel warm and relaxed. But just a few hours later, those vessels constrict suddenly. That quick shift causes your blood pressure to swing, putting extra strain on your blood vessel walls. And if your arteries are already less flexible, it creates the perfect environment for a clot to form. I remember one of my patients, Thomas, 4, who told me, Doc, I have a little drink at night to help me sleep, but lately I wake up every morning with a heavy head and low energy. When we adjusted his routine, eating dinner earlier, skipping the evening drink, and replacing it with a warm glass of water within just 2 weeks, he said he was sleeping more deeply, waking up more refreshed, and his blood pressure had stabilized. Science also tells us that the risk of stroke naturally rises in the early morning hours, when blood pressure tends to fluctuate the most. If you've eaten too much or had alcohol before bed, you're adding more stress to your body during those critical hours. The solution is simple. Eat dinner at least 2-3 hours before bed, so your body has time to digest. Choose water instead of alcohol, and avoid foods that are too salty or sugary late at night. If you want a warm, cozy bedtime ritual, opt for a mild herbal tea or a warm glass of milk. Your body will thank you. So let me ask you, last night, did you give your body a full night to rest? Or did you make it work a night shift with a full stomach and a couple of drinks? At our age, every night's sleep is not just about rest, it's about repair. And sometimes, one small change at dinner is all it takes to protect your heart and brain for years to come. Sleeping upright in a recliner. You know, there are habits that seem harmless, even comforting, but quietly carry hidden risks to your health, especially once you're in your 50s and 60s. One of those is sleeping upright or nearly upright in a recliner. I understand why many people choose this position. If you have back pain, acid reflux, or you've recently had surgery, leaning back in a chair can bring instant relief. The chair cradles your back, your head is elevated, and it feels like your whole body is supported. But inside, something else is happening. When you sleep upright, blood tends to pool in your legs. For older adults whose blood may already be thicker and blood vessels narrower, circulation slows down. And that environment is perfect for a blood clot to form, which can lead to serious events like deep vein thrombosis or even a stroke. I remember one of my patients, Richard, ceremony durham. He had acid reflux, so he often slept in his favorite recliner. At first, he thought it was the perfect solution, no more nighttime heartburn. But a few months later, he began noticing mild swelling in his legs and a heavy feeling when standing in the morning. When we checked, an ultrasound revealed poor blood flow in his leg veins, an early warning sign of a clot. Once he switched to a bed with an adjustable headrest and added a few light leg exercises before bed, his condition improved dramatically. Science explains this clearly. When you sleep sitting up, your leg muscles stay inactive. That means your muscle pump, the natural mechanism that pushes blood back toward the heart, basically shuts down. Blood then sits in the lower legs, increasing pressure on the vein walls. If you already have varicose veins, high blood pressure, or a history of clots, this risk is even higher. But this doesn't mean you have to suffer through back pain or reflux just to avoid the danger. There are safer options. You can use an adjustable bed or a wedge pillow to elevate your head and upper body. This reduces stomach pressure while keeping blood moving. And remember, light leg movement before bed, or even during the night if you wake up, can make a difference. Just rotating your ankles or flexing your feet can help reactivate circulation. So let me ask you, last night, did you sleep in your bed or in your chair? And this morning, did your legs feel heavy, swollen, or tingly? At our age, we can't ignore any warning signs tied to blood flow. Every night's sleep isn't just about rest. It's a time for your heart, brain, and blood vessels to recover. And sometimes, simply changing where and how you sleep can protect you from a very serious risk. Sleeping without proper humidity in the room. Have you noticed how, when the weather turns cold or you run the air conditioner all night, you often wake up with dry lips, a scratchy throat, and skin that feels tight and rough? Many people brush it off as normal. But once we're in our 50s or 60s, it can be a warning sign of something deeper. The humidity in your bedroom is too low. I want you to picture this. For 7-8 hours straight, you're breathing in dry air. Every breath you take carries away a little bit of water from your body, and your skin silently loses moisture as well. You didn't drink any water during the night, and by morning, your blood is just a little thicker than it was the night before. At our age, when blood vessels are narrower and less elastic, that extra thickness in the blood can become the spark that triggers a clot and the most serious outcome of all, a stroke. I remember one of my patients, Helen, 70, who lives in a cold climate. She often used a space heater in the winter and sometimes ran warm air conditioning all night. She told me that every morning she'd wake up feeling slightly lightheaded and extremely thirsty. When we ran tests, her blood was noticeably more concentrated in the morning. After she started using a humidifier and made it a habit to drink a glass of water before bed, her symptoms improved dramatically. She told me she felt better than I have in over a decade. Medically speaking, when humidity in your bedroom drops below about 30–35%, your body loses moisture faster through both your breath and your skin. If your body can't replace that lost water quickly enough, your blood becomes more concentrated, circulation slows. And if you already have heart disease, diabetes, or high cholesterol, your risk for a blood clot goes up even more. The fix is actually simple. Keep your bedroom humidity between 40–60% for the best sleep and heart health. A humidifier in your room can make the air much easier to breathe. Also, get in the habit of drinking a glass of water before bed and keeping another on your nightstand. If you wake up during the night or feel thirsty, take a small sip. This helps keep your body balanced until morning. So let me ask you, when you woke up this morning, were your lips dry, your throat scratchy, or your head heavy? That might not just be dry weather. It could be your body telling you it needs better care while you sleep. At our age, every breath we take at night, every drop of water in our body is precious. And with just a little attention and a small change, you can give your heart and brain a valuable gift for tomorrow. Oh, going to sleep after skipping your blood pressure or heart medication. You know, in more than 30 years as a doctor, I've seen so many patients think skipping one dose won't hurt. But once you're in your 50s or 60s, missing even a single dose of your blood pressure or heart medication before bed can create a risk you'd never expect. I want you to picture this. You've been taking your medication every day for months, keeping your blood pressure steady and your heartbeat regular. But tonight, because you were busy, tired, or simply forgot, you didn't take your usual bedtime dose. You go to sleep thinking nothing will happen. Meanwhile, inside your body, things begin to change. Your blood pressure slowly creeps up, especially between 2 and 6 I. Message, sir. The golden hours when medicine tells us strokes are most likely to happen. As your blood pressure spikes, your blood gets thicker, your artery walls are under more strain, and your risk of a blood clot shoots up. I remember one of my patients, William. He was always disciplined about taking his medicine, but during a trip, he forgot his nighttime dose. The next morning, he woke up with a severe headache and numbness in his right hand. Thankfully, he got to the ER in time, but that experience made him realize that even just once can have lifelong consequences. Medically, blood pressure and heart medications aren't just temporary fixes. They're what keep your pressure and heart rhythm stable all night long. Skip a dose, and your body is forced to adjust without that shield in place, leading to dangerous fluctuations. For older adults, whose arteries are already less elastic, these swings can be a heavy blow to the brain and heart. The solution is simple but often overlooked. Set a reminder on your phone, or keep your medicine somewhere you'll see it, like on your nightstand next to a glass of water. If you travel often or tend to forget, keep a small backup pill case with you. And most importantly, never think just this once is harmless, because when it comes to your heart and brain, once is all it takes to make a difference. So let me ask you, did you take all your medication last night? If your answer is no, then today is the day to set up a foolproof reminder system. At our age, every pill isn't just a habit, it's a shield protecting you while you sleep. When you're not aware enough to protect yourself, and sometimes, that consistency is the reason you're still healthy enough to wake up tomorrow morning. Sleeping on your right side with your arm under the pillow. Have you ever noticed how some little habits in our sleep, things we've done for years without thinking, can quietly put pressure on our bodies night after night? One of those habits is sleeping on your right side with your arm tucked under the pillow. I want you to picture this. You're lying on your right side, head resting on your arm. At first, it feels cozy, maybe even comforting, a position you've used since you were young. But beneath that comfort, your arm is being compressed. More importantly, your carotid artery and subclavian artery, the main highways carrying blood to your brain, are under extra pressure. Blood flow is slowed, narrowed, and restricted. And at age 50 or 60, when your arteries are less elastic and your blood is more prone to clotting, this subtle pressure can quietly contribute to clot formation. The danger in alarm, you won't feel it happening while you sleep. I once treated a patient, Susan, 66 years old. She had been sleeping in this exact position for decades, believing it was the fastest way to drift off. But in recent months, she began waking up with tingling in one arm and lightheadedness when sitting up. When we checked her circulation, we found significant compression in the vessels around her neck and shoulder, especially after spending hours on her right side. Once she switched to sleeping on her left side and used a contour pillow to support her neck and shoulder, her morning tingling and dizziness almost completely disappeared. From a medical standpoint, compressing major blood vessels for hours each night can reduce blood flow to both the brain and heart. When your brain gets less oxygen, you might feel tired, foggy, or wake up with headaches. And if this happens night after night, your risk for blood clots and cardiovascular events rises, especially if you already have high blood pressure, diabetes, or hardened arteries. The fix is surprisingly simple. Sleep on your left side to take pressure off major blood vessels and improve circulation. Keep your arm in front of you or alongside your body instead of under your pillow. A contour pillow can help keep your neck and shoulders in proper alignment, preventing vessel compression. So let me ask you, when you woke up this morning, did you notice tingling in your arm or stiffness in your neck? If so, it may not just be one bad night's sleep. It could be a habit you've carried for years without realizing the impact. At this stage of life, every night's rest isn't just about recharging, it's about protecting your brain, sweaty heart, and blood vessels. A small change tonight, switching sides and adjusting your arm position, could be one of the best health gifts you give yourself for years to come. Sleeping flat on your back without a pillow. You know, A lot of people believe that sleeping flat on your back, with no pillow, is the most natural way to rest. They think it keeps the spine straight and lets the body fully relax. But here's the truth: at 50, 60 years old, our bodies are not the same as they were at 20. And what seems harmless can quietly cause serious problems for your heart, brain, and circulation. I want you to picture this. You're lying flat on your back, head level with your body, neck slightly tilted backward. For hours, blood moves more slowly because there's no help from gravity to return it to the heart. In older adults where blood vessels are less elastic and narrower, this can cause blood to pool in the head and neck. That increases intracranial pressure, leaving you waking up with a heavy head, fatigue, even dizziness. And when blood flow slows, your risk of blood clots rises, especially if you have heart disease or high blood pressure. I remember one of my patients, Michael, age 68. He was healthy for the most part, just occasionally complaining of morning headaches. When I asked about his sleeping position, he laughed. I've slept flat on my back without a pillow since I was young. Thought it was good for my back. After I explained the hidden risks and suggested he try elevating his head about 30 degrees with a properly fitted pillow, he agreed to give it a try. Within just a week, he woke up feeling more alert, his headaches disappeared, and his sleep felt deeper. From a medical perspective, elevating your head while sleeping, just 1 or 2 supportive pillows, helps blood flow more freely and reduces pressure on the brain's blood vessels. This is especially important for anyone with circulation issues or a history of transient ischemic attacks, mini strokes. But here's the key: choose the right pillow. It should support the natural curve of your neck, not let your chin drop toward your chest, which can compress both your airway and blood vessels. The fix is simple. Use a contour pillow or one with medium firmness to keep your head and neck stable. If you need more elevation, you can try a wedge pillow or slightly raise the head of your bed. Just one small change like this can protect your brain and heart all night long. Let me ask you, when you woke up this morning, did you feel sharp and clear-minded or heavy and sluggish? Sometimes it's not age or stress, it's simply that your sleeping position isn't helping your body. At this stage of life, every drop of blood to the brain, every heartbeat while you sleep, is precious, and sometimes is torrendous. The difference between an ordinary night's rest and a truly restorative one comes down to a single pillow. 11. Tossing and turning, the hidden cost to your sleep. Have you ever had one of those nights you lie down thinking you'll drift right off, but instead, you're tossing and turning, waking up over and over again? By morning, your body feels drained, your mind is foggy, and you can't figure out why you're so exhausted. At 50 or 60 years old, this isn't just a bad night's sleep. Sometimes, it's your body's quiet warning sign that your brain isn't getting enough oxygen, or your blood circulation is unstable while you sleep. I want you to picture this. Every time you roll over, your body shifts position. Your muscles and blood vessels stretch and contract suddenly. That small change makes your blood pressure fluctuate, and your heart has to beat faster to keep up. If this happens dozens of times a night, your blood flow never stays steady. Your vessels can become slightly inflamed, and over time, your risk of stroke or heart problems quietly increases. You won't feel it happening, but your body will tell you the next morning through fatigue, a heavy head, or an unusually fast heartbeat. I think of my patient Caroline, 69 years old, who came to me looking utterly worn out. She said, "Doctor, I sleep 8 hours, but it feels like I never slept at all." We had her wear a sleep monitor and found she was tossing and turning over 40 times a night. The culprits were an evening coffee habit, a bedroom that was too warm, and a pillow that didn't keep her body stable. After cutting out coffee in the evening, keeping her bedroom cooler and darker, and adding a body pillow for support, just 1 week later, she told me, "It feels like my nights are longer, deeper, and I wake up feeling years younger." From a medical standpoint, deep, uninterrupted sleep is when your brain and heart truly rest. Your blood vessels relax, and your body repairs itself. When that sleep is broken again and again, your body releases more stress hormones. Your morning blood pressure can be higher, and vessel inflammation may increase. The fix isn't complicated. Avoid caffeine and alcohol at least 4 to 6 hours before bed. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Use a body pillow or contoured pillow to help limit unnecessary movement. And if tossing and turning persists, see your doctor for a sleep study. It could be a sign of sleep apnea or a circulation disorder. So let me ask you, when you woke up this morning, did you feel truly rested? Or was it just another night that slipped by without giving your body the recovery it needs? At this stage in life, sleep isn't just rest, it's the foundation for protecting your memory, your clarity, and your heart health. Taking care of your sleep is quietly taking care of your future. Nighttime strokes aren't random. They can often be prevented with a few simple changes. Tonight, try elevating your head slightly, sleeping on your left side, taking your medications on time, and keeping your bedroom well ventilated. These small adjustments can help you sleep better while protecting your memory, mobility, and independence. Share one thing you learned today and plan to put into action in the comments. If you found this video helpful, drop a 1. If not, drop a 0 so I know how to improve for you. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more health tips made just for you. Thank you for watching, and let's protect our brain health. One night at a time.